We gotta talk about how Doctor Who's more back than it ever has been before. Like, the first 2 episodes were solid, but man, these last 2 episodes, really got me hooked onto this Doctor and to this companion. I don't remember the last time Doctor Who had me at the edge of my seat like these past 2 episodes had me. Don't get me wrong, I found the first 2 episodes to be solid, and the giggle was pretty good in the 60th anniversary. The other 2 episodes in the 60th anniversary weren't that great. Actually, I found episode 2 in the 60th anniversary to be pretty bad. But episodes 3 and 4 in series 1 was the most I've been on the edge of my seat in Doctor Who in years. I was wondering what was going on, what's going to happen next. The acting from both Ncuti Gatwa in episode 3 and then Millie Gibson in episode 4 they both have really great performances. Ncuti Gatwa completely won me over in episode 3. He felt like the Doctor in every way, and it really helped with Stephen Moffat's writing, but Ncuti Gatwa's performance, it felt so like the Doctor, especially when he was going on that spew about how he was a Time Lord and he's like a special kind of time being, he's going to explode. It's just everything in that is all of his monologues in that episode really felt like the Doctor. Stephen Moffat really knows how to do a great monologue, and he had a really great monologue for Ncuti Gatwa. I know a lot of people have mixed opinions on Stephen Moffat. I personally never had a problem with him. I felt like he did do a bad season in series 9. I felt like series 9 was pretty bad. And he had some really bad episodes, I'm just going to be completely honest. But that was him as showrunner. I felt like he was the second best showrunner, and he was a solid showrunner who had a lot of highs and lows. But I'd rather have Stephen Moffat for the rest of my life than ever get Trish Chibnall back again. He made the show unwatchable for me. And also, in some ways, I feel like Stephen Moffat understands the Doctor more than Russell T Davies, but I feel like the show is just better constructed overall when Russell T Davies is the showrunner. But yeah, I have nothing but positivity for Stephen Moffat. And also, Stephen Moffat did a better job with an anniversary than Russell T Davies did. The 50th anniversary was absolutely spectacular. 60th anniversary was pretty mid. I'm really disappointed with the 60th anniversary. What was Russell T Davies thinking? I'm just going to be completely honest. Even though I really like the giggle, the other two are just so subpar. Also, Stephen Moffat always wrote great episodes when Russell T Davies was the showrunner. But yeah, episode 3 had me at the edge of my seat. Stephen Moffat did a great job making the 15th Doctor really feel like a Doctor. In some ways, I felt like the 15th Doctor felt a little bit like the 12th Doctor in that episode. I have a feeling that Stephen Moffat took one of his old ideas or old scripts from the 12th Doctor era and reconformed it into a 15th Doctor episode. But it all really works and makes Ncuti Gatwa really feel like the Doctor. And it just felt like it's such a long time, and not including the 14th Doctor, but it felt like such a long time since I was watching a really good episode of Doctor Who. And this was a really strong episode. And I like the giggle more because it felt more epic, and it felt like an anniversary episode, But this feels like a real strong episode of Doctor Who. It didn't feel epic or anything. It was small scale, but it had big stakes. And obviously I knew Ruby wasn't going to die, but just seeing the characters being put into this situation, it's really an interesting episode, an interesting scenario. How's the Doctor going to get out of this? And it just all really works. Episode 3 might be the best written episode of Doctor Who since the Series 10 finale, which was way too long since we've last had a great written episode of Doctor Who. And this is all I really wanted from the new Russell T Davies era. Well, not all I wanted. I don't like that the Timeless Children is being referenced, because that's something I really did not want in this new era of Doctor Who. But the main thing I wanted was some entertainment and some good storytelling with some solid writing, and I'd be happy with once in a while getting some great writing like in the original Russell T Davies era. There's one more thing I want to talk about, episode 3, which might be a slight spoiler to season 2. So just a fair warning, I'm about to spoil something in season 2. Okay, you've been warned in 3, 2, 1. Alright, in episode 3, it looks like we got a glimpse at our new companion. Or, I don't think she's replacing Ruby anymore. I don't know. I just know that actress, I don't know if she's going to be playing that exact character, but the actress in episode 3 is going to be a companion in series 2. And based off her character in this, I don't know if I really know how to feel about her character. I don't have any strong or negative opinions, but she isn't a 21st century companion, which makes me super, super happy. I really hope this same actress isn't playing another boring-ass 21st century companion. And I also hope she's not a mystery box character either. please. But I'm just going to give my quick rating to episode 3. I'm going to give episode 3 an 88%. Yes, I do feel like it's a great episode and it has really great writing. It's not like anything that would be in the 90s for me. Like, I didn't feel like the 90s, I feel like it really needs to move me and like I need to feel it in my chest. Like, wow, this was like a great episode, like, and everything. It was a great episode, do not get me wrong. I just don't feel like it did enough for me to get into the 90s. It didn't completely blow me away or anything, but it's a really good episode and had some great writing in it and some really good directing. Episode 4, on the other hand, while I felt like it was also a really good episode, it's not as good as episode 3. Like, they're close in quality, in my opinion. The writing is both great in both episodes. I feel like the directing was better in episode 4, but it felt like it wasn't as engaging as episode 3. Both kept me at the edge of my seat, and it both had me wondering, like, what's going to happen next. But episode 4, it's still a great episode overall. Great writing, really well constructed, great directing. Music was fantastic in this episode as well. Had some twists and turns. I gotta say though, I don't completely understand episode 4. Like, what did Ruby step into? Like, what was the ending? Like, why did the things get changed? Like, what did everything mean? And why the snow stopped for her? Was it a dream? Like, what exactly happened? But it was still like an interesting episode nonetheless. And Millie Gibson had a great performance in episode 4. She really won me over as the companion in episode 4, and she did a great job. Still not a really big fan of the whole mystery box companion thing that surrounds her, but maybe they'll do something interesting with it. If she's a Time Lord, then I would be happy with the mystery box that they gave to Ruby. Also, in episode 4, we saw some previous faces, like that old lady neighbor. I'm not sure who she's going to be exactly. So this episode kind of leaves you with more questions than answers. I'm also seeing a lot of references to a certain character based off of audience reactions. I'm about to give a minor spoiler to either this season or next season or the future of the new Russell T Davies era, but a lot of people were saying in episode 4 there's some sort of Susan connection. I personally didn't see any sort of reference to Susan or the character of Susan being in this episode. I really hope that was the case, because I want Susan to be in the new Russell T Davies era or just in any season of Doctor Who really badly. I just want the character back. I feel like there's so much potential with Susan, and having her back is just really exciting, and it can make some really interesting storylines. Fingers crossed that she is coming back this season or next season or at some point in Doctor Who. So yeah, I'm glad we got some really good writing with this episode, and I'm giving this episode an 87%. Not as good as episode 3, just by like 1%. 2 really great episodes, like in terms of the writing quality. Both aren't in the 90s yet. Nothing like completely blew me away like a 90% episode would do. But both episodes kept me at the edge of my seat. Both had some really great writing and directing. Episode 4 had some really great music, and both episodes really made me won over by the Doctor and this companion. I get these characters now. The performances feel really authentic. The Doctor really feels like the Doctor again for the first time since the 12th Doctor, not including the 14th Doctor, because it's David Tennant. We already know he could play the Doctor, but seeing a new face feeling like the Doctor just feels so right to me. So yeah, I'm glad we got 2 really good episodes of Doctor Who. I have much more faith in this new era, and I hope this winning streak continues. I think the first series so far has been pretty solid. And I officially like the 15th Doctor now, and I always liked Ruby, but I really liked her even more now. I hope the mystery to Ruby is going to be a satisfying conclusion. And yeah, we'll see how everything turns out. I'm just glad that no Timeless Child stuff was mentioned in any of these 2 episodes. I think the Doctor was mentioned once that he was adopted. Don't really remember, don't really care. Every time he says it, like my ears go blank, like I hear a muffling sound, because I just don't want any reminder of the time with children. But yeah, next episode looks pretty interesting, I guess. I don't know, it looks kind of weird what they're doing with the next episode. We might have our first like bad episode of Doctor Who this season. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. The next episode looks a little wonky, but yeah, I feel like the future of Doctor Who looks pretty bright at the moment, and I'm excited to see what we get next.